Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mountain View County Division 4 Online Candidates Forum. My name is Bruce Beatty, and I'm honored to be your moderator for tonight's event. First, I'd like to offer a warm thank you to both of our candidates, Sean Labrie and Tiffany Nixon, for joining us this evening. We're pleased to provide an opportunity for everyone to get to know them better and to hear their perspectives. I would also like to thank anyone and everyone who is joining us online and participating in the forum. As a reminder, this forum is being held online only via Zoom conferencing. It will be recorded and will be available on the county website for viewing at a later time. To ensure a smooth experience, we ask that all participants please keep your microphones muted so that we minimize background noise and allow everyone to focus on the candidates. Many Division 4 residents have already submitted questions for tonight's forum, and we will address these throughout our time together. Each candidate will have 5 minutes to introduce themselves and their platform. We conducted a random draw prior to the forum to determine the order of speaking, and a clock will be used to ensure fairness, and the timers are up on the screens. I will pose questions to both candidates, allowing each of them an opportunity to respond. We will alternate the order of responses to keep things equitable. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to provide an answer. Please note that this is not a debate format, and each candidate will respond to the questions in turn. After the questions, each candidate will have 2 minutes for their closing remarks. And once again, the order has been determined by a random draw. And finally, we will provide an outline of voting opportunities for advance polls and election day at the end of the forum. So let's get started. And according to the draw prior to the event, Sean Labrie has drawn to speak first. So Sean, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bruce. Good evening. My name is Sean Labrie, and I am seeking your support because I want to make our community a sustainable and safe place for my family and yours. I believe in common sense government, community safety and property rights, and sustainable development. 20 years ago, I began a new challenge when my family and I moved from Calgary to become first-generation ranchers, and we established Difficulty Ranch. We run a herd of approximately 100 commercial beef cows while focusing on environmentally regenerative agriculture practices. My teenage kids attend Didsbury High School and Olds College, and they are involved in band, 4-H, hockey, and baseball, mainly in the Didsbury area. I currently volunteer as a coach for minor hockey Alberta and for minor baseball Alberta, and coach teams in Didsbury and Carstairs. I also currently sit on the Agricultural Services Board in Mountain View County and have done so for approximately 8 years. After 24 years in the Calgary Police Service, I have a wide variety of experiences and knowledge that can benefit the community. Integrity, empathy and compassion, mental ability, listening and observation, effective communication, conflict resolution, and cultural awareness. These are just a few skills I have attained. My governance training comes from numerous boards that I have worked on over many years. A major part of my ongoing learning has been with professionals like leadership consultant David Irvine and former Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, John Knapp. My point is not to name drop, but to demonstrate that I have relevant and continuous experience that will make me a contributing member to Mountain View County, even though I have not been a councillor before. With my experience in team environments, whether as a member, a leader, or a mentor, I enjoy a challenge and am willing to step up and be a voice for Division 4 and Mountain View County. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Tiffany.
Good evening, friends, neighbors, and residents of Division 4. My name is Tiffany Nixon, and I'm honored to be a candidate for Mountain View County Council for our division. Many of you I have met while door knocking during the campaign, and I hope to be able to meet many, many more as I continue on. Although I unfortunately probably won't be able to make it through the entire division. So it's great to have a forum like this so that people can hear from me and have an opportunity to ask me questions. Due to the tight timeline, the chances of making it through the whole division are pretty slim, but I'll do my best. This place has been my home for many years. Like you, my family and I have valued the beautiful scenery and warmth of community. We've shared joys of our county and our country living and faced challenges together. As many of you know, last year, our family experienced the hardest moments of our lives when our twins, Austin and Cheyenne, were involved in a terrible accident. While our daughter suffered more minor injuries, our son was very seriously injured. It was a time of fear and uncertainty for our entire family. But with the outpouring love, prayer, and support from this community, we've truly felt that we had the strength of the community and our friends and family and neighbors behind us. And I can't express how deeply cherished and appreciated that was. Thanks to all of you, and with the quick thinking and action of all the local first responders, the first people on the scene, and the medical professionals both on the scene and in the city, our son is here with us today, and both kids are working well through their recoveries. Now it's time to give back to the community that helped save my family. That's why I'm running for council. I believe that the future of Mountain View County and Division 4 is great, and I'm deeply committed as a fellow community member to working with all of you to make it the best that it can be. As a mother, wife, and advocate, my family and I have called this beautiful region home. Like many of you, we've enjoyed the vast landscapes, the rich scenes and sense of community, and the unique way of life that defines Mountain View County. But as we look towards the future, I know there is much more that we can do to ensure that the community continues to grow and to thrive. I believe in the values of listening, resilience, strong communication, balance, and hard work. I will bring these qualities to the table as your representative. I believe in the strength of our rural communities. I believe in that leadership should be rooted deeply in transparency, accountability, and most importantly, a genuine connection with the people that it serves. Whether it's ensuring we maintain the delicate balance between development and preservation that's needed for sustainability, or safeguarding our agricultural lands, finding ways to keep property taxes low as possible, or addressing the needs of our local infrastructure, we need a council who is willing to listen to the ideas and concerns of every resident and make decisions that reflect our shared values. We need a council that is dedicated to ensuring our rural way of life thrives, while supporting responsible growth and supporting business opportunities in the community. I'll work hard to make sure your voices are heard in every decision made, and that Mountain View County remains a place where we can all succeed. Division 4 is not just an area to me, it's my home, just as it is yours. Together, I know we can build a strong future for our generations to come that honors our past while boldly looking towards the future. And I humbly ask for your support, your trust, and your vote as we take this journey together. Thank you so much, and I look forward to serving you.
Thank you, Tiffany. And we'll go on to the question period. And we'll start with the first question to Sean. Sean, the ability for a municipality to provide high-quality services is directly tied to the taxation received from businesses and residents. Councillors have the flexibility to maintain services with small incremental tax increases, increasing services resulting in higher taxation, or decreasing services resulting in decreased taxation. What is your position in that?
Thank you, Bruce. Municipal taxes are probably one of the most important and forefront issues dealt with by taxpayers and by councillors who are the ones that are going to implement them or make recommendations towards them. I believe that a discussion with ratepayers as to what service levels they expect for what tax rate they expect to pay for is where to start. If they believe that they need an increase in services, then we need to find out what that level of service they expect is. which will allow a discussion at the council table to determine how much an increase or a decrease in taxes would be regarding the level of service. That being said, also, we need to lobby the provincial government in being able to allow the county to keep the taxes here instead of filtering them through the provincial government. It would allow us more flexibility to use the money as council and their the people want those tax dollars to be spent. It wouldn't, it would give the county councilors more power in dealing with the issues at hand. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. And Tiffany, to the same question.
So I believe that maintaining a balance between taxes and services is essential. Incremental tax increases, if needed, should reflect the county's goals of delivering high-quality services efficiently without placing undue burden on residents or businesses. It's crucial to understand the level of service we want provided and the costs associated with it. For example, ensuring primary roads are cleared within 24 hours of a storm is important for safety and accessibility, but are residents prepared to pay the overtime costs that come with that level of service? A robust asset management program will help us set priorities and allocate resources effectively, ensuring that we deliver essential services while managing long-term financial sustainability. Additionally, we also need to foster tax revenue generating opportunities within the community to help maintain a lower tax rate. As a county, we must balance service expectations with financial realities and to ensure we meet the needs of our residents without overtaxing our resources.
Thank you. Our next question, and we'll start with Tiffany this time. Aggregate extraction is one of the more contentious industries located in the county due to their impact on adjacent lands and the intensive operation. Quite often, these locations are in proximity to residential uses, thereby enhancing the challenges that council faces when approving the appropriate land uses. What is your position on aggregate extraction?
I believe that aggregate extraction is crucial to our economy and growth, but it must be carefully managed and mitigated. We must mitigate the impacts on nearby residents. I support working with industry, residents, and experts to develop policies that ensure these operations are responsible, minimize disruption, and comply with standards. Striking this balance is key to preserving our county's rural character while fostering growth.
So the question was on aggregate extraction. I believe that the benefits definitely outweigh the negatives for a successful continuation of a viable county. It's necessary that we have gravel pits. It's the lifeblood of our county. They provide us all of the infrastructure when it comes to accessibility for businesses, for residents. So they need to be done. They need to be done in a respectful manner, and they need to be done using 5 major aspects that need to be considered and are part of the aggregate extraction policy of the county, which are, they must take into all the environmental concerns. They must fall within the rural aesthetics of the place that the aggregate is being removed. Hours of operation, size are also necessary to be maintained so that they do not infringe on people's lives. And then reclamation needs to be considered, even though that's a provincial responsibility, the county needs to hold the provincial government accountable for the reclamation of those pits. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Our next question, we'll start with Tiffany. What is the biggest issue that you feel is currently facing the county, or an issue that will face the county in the next 5 years? And if elected as a councillor, How would you work to deal with that issue?
I think some of the big issues facing the county's residents, from what I've heard from people while I'm at their doors, talking to them, introducing myself, or saying hello to my neighbors, um, would be things like roads and infrastructure, sustainable development, and property taxes. Those seems to be the biggest things on people's mind at the doors. I'm not sure if that's how the council feels about it. They may have some other ideas on that, and I'm sure that other people in the county would also agree that those are crucial things. I think that in the future, and to help us ensure that we are maintaining those items, we have to look at responsible spending and responsible development to make sure that we're ready for influx of people, new acreages or subdivisions that do happen, and ensuring that we have those things in place so that people can come to our beautiful county and make their home here. Thank you.
And Sean?
Thank you, Bruce. I think the biggest issue in Mountain View County going forward is the renewable energy infrastructure on ag land. This is being brought to the forefront in all counties, and it's certainly rearing its head in Mountain View County. I am not in favor of, or I'm generally not in favor of big renewable energy infrastructure being built in Mountain View County. Takes up large tracts of agriculture land. It's generally unsightly. People have asked about, can we put it on county gravel pits or less developable land? It would seem that those big infrastructure projects, they want big tracts of land. Gravel pits aren't very big. Ditches and parking lots generally aren't big enough to service those needs. Thankfully, the provincial government has brought into some safeguards when it comes to renewable energy infrastructure, and it has slowed them. We need to remember the problems that oil and gas and the quick expansion of oil and gas brought. We need to learn from our experiences with regards to not cleaned up or abandoned wells. And we need to apply that to other energy infrastructure that's being contemplated. Excuse me. We need to make sure that there are plenty of safeguards before we start allowing renewable energy infrastructure to be built in the county. Thank you.
Okay. Our next question, and we'll start with Sean. What is your stance on development incentives to encourage economic activity versus a developer pays for development position?
Thank you, Bruce. Developer pay is a much more sustainable and ethical way to proceed. It doesn't pick winners and losers or the appearance of picking winners and losers. The incentives that are already there when you have a developer pay, or sorry, when you have the developer paying, is because the incentives are already there. If the county provides reliable infrastructure, good roads, available power, internet, the companies will come. Every incentives are there when everybody is encouraged to pay their fair share. Vibrant communities, good access, and good policy encourage good development. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. And Tiffany?
I also believe in a balanced approach to development. Development incentives can help to bring new business and boost our economy, but developers should bear the majority of the costs and the responsibility of those costs for infrastructure that come with the growth. They can recoup those costs better than the county can, and we don't want any policies or to encourage development that is going to place a financial burden solely on the existing residents. We want to make sure that burden is already covered by the developer and or the sale of the development to the people that are going there. And then that way, everybody doesn't have any extra taxes tacked on to try and cover those costs.
Okay, thank you. It's a little bit related to a couple of previous questions, but development, whether industrial, commercial, or intensive agricultural operations, inevitably have an impact on adjacent land uses and landowners, including traditional agricultural producers. What would you do to balance the necessity for development versus the interests of those that reside in the area? And Tiffany, if you'll deal with that one first, please.
I think that having a strategy that provides a strong foundation would be helpful. I think that as far as development in the county, again, we need to make sure that we are making sure that fees or tax burdens that would be put on county members are already covered by the developer themselves so that they can recoup those kind of costs. I think that being careful not to overdevelop, we need to have a very good plan for sustainable development. So we're mindful, we need to protect our agricultural lands, we need to protect our waterways and not have those items be developed. And we also need to be making sure that we're just mindful that we have the practices and the regulations in place and that we're following those for the county. So we can ensure that there's fairness in the development and the process of providing access or granting development access. Thank you.
Okay, and Sean.
Thank you. The county's municipal development plan is a well thought out and crafted document to deal with these types of conflicts. As part of the Agriculture Services Board, I had some small input regarding the ag concerns with regards to development in some of those environmentally sensitive places. As part of the 2022 to 2027 strategic plan that the county has provided, identified growth centers, and within those economic nodes have been identified as places for development to try to create and align with Ag First priorities. So there won't be big industrial complexes or confined feeding operations dotting throughout the county. They are being put or recommended to be developed in certain nodes that are either agriculture or intensive agriculture or big business first type of places, so that they're not chewing up agriculture land or moving into residential areas. Thank you.
Okay. Next question. Mountain View County has entered in 2 properties, the Campbell Pit and the Jackson Lake, into a conservation easement with the Legacy Land Trust. What do you know about land conservation organizations working in Mountain View County, specifically the Legacy Land Trust? And what role do you believe the county has in supporting their work? Sean.
Thank you, Bruce. The county works with many conservation organizations. As one of the county residents, I also work with those organizations. The Alternative Land Use Services, the Alberta Conservation Association, Cows and Fish, are all organizations that I personally, as well as the county, deal with to help with our environmentally sensitive areas. They provide programs and money towards beneficial environmental practices. These organizations work with and encourage conservation on private land. A conservation land trust on county land is just one way to show environmental leadership with county-owned land. So I was very appreciative when the county got involved with Legacy Land Trust and encouraged them to help manage our county lands that are environmentally significant. The board of directors that is on the Legacy Land Trust is a group of very very methodically environmental responsible people. I know that our moderator, Bruce, he sits on that panel, and he is a leader in this county in ag or in environmental services, and I know that his position is very encouraging. Thank you.
And Tiffany?
Thank you. I myself am not very familiar with how land trusts operate, including the work of Legacy Land Trust. However, I do acknowledge and I do believe that we need to preserve and conserve land in Mountain View County while ensuring that we are protecting our agricultural landscape. It's crucial that we protect sensitive lands without compromising the production of those lands. I do have some concerns from what I have heard about land trusts, about holding farmers to long-term leases, such as 100-year commitments, as things may change. Our economy may change, the environment may change, the owners may change. I still believe that the land needs to be protected, but I think it also needs to be available to be farmed or ranched when necessary or when needed. Supporting initiatives that balance conservation with active farming are essential to maintaining the vitality of our rural community, and protecting significant and environmentally sensitive areas is also important. We need to make sure that we're finding a good balance for both. Thank you.
Thank you. I will go back to another question that was sent in. Having a knowledge and experience working on boards and committees or commissions can be an asset to a new councillor. What experience do you have with these governing bodies? And Tiffany, if you'd like to address that.
Although I do not have any direct experience on a municipal board, I do have experience and have worked with various boards and charitable organizations, which has given me valuable governance skills. I've collaborated with diverse stakeholders, built consensus, and led initiatives that balance local interests with broader community goals. Not being entrenched in municipal politics and council procedures may allow me to bring a fresh, unbiased perspective to the role. I believe this open-minded approach, combined with my experience in other areas of government and governance, will enable me to make informed, effective decisions for the benefit of the entire community. Thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany. And Sean?
Thank you, Bruce. I have sat on numerous boards and committees. I was with the Foothills Forage and Grazing Association for 16 years. I was the treasurer, vice president, and president for my final 3 years. I was with the Calgary Police Rodeo Association for 7 years and retired there as vice president. I sit on the Ag Service Board within the county currently and have been in that position for approximately 8 years. I sat on the Ag Industry Advisory Committee for Olds College, which was a two-year commitment. I currently am a hockey coach and a baseball coach, and I also sit on the minor rec hockey board for Didsbury as the referee coordinator. My experience with the Calgary Police Service led me to deal with lots of different boards and committees. I was a community resource officer, which dealt with numerous committees, dealing with businesses, dealing with hospitals, dealing with just regular small business folks who were encountering problems, at a street level. And I think that's about all of my experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Our next question has to do with first parcel out. Many landowners feel that they have a right to first parcel out from an unsubdivided border section. What is your position on a first parcel out policy? Sean?
Thank you, Bruce. I am generally in agreement for a first parcel out if it's for a residential purpose. An exemption to that would be for where they want a first parcel out that's in a environmentally sensitive area. For businesses, as a first parcel out, I am generally not in favor of, but there is need for a tremendous more scrutiny when it comes to a business first parcel out. Our bylaws and policies within the county need to be, I guess, they need to be enforced more conservatively, in that there's a lot of leeway taken and given by the county. So I would like to see the county be more enforcement. Actually, maybe not enforcement is not quite the right word. I would like them to be more educational, but with an enforcement and penalty background when compliance isn't there. And I think the county also needs to be a little bit less prescriptive when it comes to the position or the placement of that first parcel out, not excluding when there needs to be access off of highways. That still needs to be considered. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sean. Tiffany?
I also support the first parcel out policy. I do believe that we should consider also looking at allowing homeowners to subdivide 2 to 3 smaller parcels instead of one bigger one, when it benefits the owner or the land more. Having multiple smaller acreages, 2 to 3 acres each, will help allow new families or young families to come into our community and build their homes and have their families, raise their families here. The approach also allows the families or the owners of the main parcel to retain a good portion of their land, which can also, when we are dividing into smaller parcels, a couple smaller parcels instead of one big parcel, that'll help boost our population density without compromising rural character of Mount View County. It also provides landowners with a way to offset some of the costs that they may have associated with setting up or maintaining agricultural operations on that land or on that parcel. And the balance between the responsible development and preserving our agricultural landscape, again, is key to maintaining the unique nature of our area. Thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany. This is kind of a related question, so we'll put this in now. Are you in favor or opposed, or do you have a position on multi-lot subdivisions and or RV parks in the county? And are there conditions that you might apply for that kind of development? And Tiffany, please.
I am sometimes in favor, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm definitely open to looking at multi-lot subdivisions or RV parks, but I believe that they need to align and strictly adhere to the community plans. I think that they need to make sure that we are not compromising our critical infrastructure and overloading it, and that it doesn't adversely affect the neighbors around them. Each proposal, I think, should be evaluated on its merits, ensuring it contributes positively to the community's economy and economic plan and integrates well with the neighbors. Thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany. And Sean?
Thank you, Bruce. I am generally not in favor of multi-lot subdivisions or trailer, can't remember exactly how the, or RV parks. The pressure on that infrastructure that Tiffany was mentioning is a big part of that. It's also part of pressure on water resources, which is, always a concern. Sewer concerns and loss of ag land are the three major reasons why I'm not in favor of that. That being said, there are good exceptions. When there's a good economically feasible proposal that is within one of the identified growth centers, I think that needs to be considered. I also believe that, although not quite the same, second and third residences for family member, like a second family member, like when kids are wanting to move home, I guess that could be part of that multi-lot subdivision, which is kind of what the last question was also about. I think that there needs to be some circumstances where moving a family in is beneficial to the county as well as to ag business. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sean. We hear a lot in the news about healthcare and health in the county and the province. So the question to Sean, how would you address the rural health professional shortage across Alberta as a member of council to help ensure that rural hospitals do not have any future service reductions?
Thank you, Bruce. Rural healthcare, certainly is a contentious point. It's required so that we can keep our strong, vibrant county ticking along. I think our best way to deal with the healthcare professionals is through the rural municipalities of Alberta as the voice of the entire province. They can and do lobby for a stronger partnership with the Alberta government when it comes to recruitment of nurses, when it comes to ambulance and dealing with some of the healthcare crises like opioids that we have. Through the RMA, they also can deal with Alberta Health Services when it comes to emergency services, which is advocating for STARS and for, better hospitals. And again, through the RMA, they deal directly with the nurses union when it comes to pay and benefits. So I think that is the best way to go about helping healthcare in our county. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Tiffany?
Although healthcare would mainly fall and staffing would fall under AHS, which is outside of the council's purview or the county's purview, I think that we could focus and work closely with our existing healthcare professionals in our communities. We can also work with the healthcare attraction and retention groups to understand their needs and ensure that they feel supported in our community and help to promote them and provide them with anything that they require to help promote themselves. Promoting the benefits of rural living, such as a strong sense of community and a great quality of life, is key to attracting new doctors and healthcare workers, not just attracting them, but to keeping them. That's also something that we often aren't thinking of when we have a new doctor come to town or a new doctor to a clinic is just making sure that we go that extra mile so that we can retain those people and have them fall in love with the community that we love, so they want to stay. Additionally, we can also look at best practices for other rural areas that have successfully retained healthcare professionals and glean from them some of the pros that they have found work. By collaborating with the provincial health authorities and learning from other successful models, we can help ensure our hospitals and clinics remain well-staffed and continue providing essential services. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're getting close to the end of our session, so I'll ask the next question. Tiffany, what are the top 2 issues facing, in your view, facing MVC right now?
Well, I think back to what I hear at the doors, and going back to that issue, a lot of the residents that I'm talking to feel that road infrastructure, sustainable development, and property taxes. So I know that's 3, not 2, but those are all the things on people's mind. Property taxes quite a bit. So we want to make sure that we are being mindful of the money that we're collecting for taxes and how it's being spent through the county, so that we can ensure that we're keeping our property taxes as low as possible and keeping our rates down as low as possible, and we're spending it wisely. As far as roads and infrastructure go, everybody would always love brand new paved roads every year, but we know that that's not possible. So just ensuring that we're rotating through, patching roads properly, and making sure that they're safe. Also, ensuring that we're doing our plowing in the winter that we need to do. I think that that is not just for safety, but accessibility for residents to be able to get in and out of their homes and their acreages. And those are some of the things that people at the doors have been talking about to me. So I think that those are very critical things for the county right now. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks. And Sean, what are those 2 major issues facing MVC right now?
Thank you, Bruce. Well, I have to agree with Tiffany that roads is, again, the number 1 thing that I'm hearing as well. I think we have addressed it in a previous question. We need to find out where service meets the dollar. What do people want to pay for? How much are they willing to pay for? And then what is the service level that is acceptable to them for what they're paying? And another one that's been brought up is rural internet. I think that the county and the province are working on it. I think if we are to want to encourage bigger, better businesses, if we want to encourage home-based businesses, if we want to encourage ranchers who are bigger, better, faster, I think we need to push internet. We need to be as fast, we need to be as conductive as they are in the big cities in order to compete with all the other competitors out there for that space. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. I always find it interesting that roads always have been the first thing that anybody wants to talk about. And I remember that when I first ran for council, and I would go to forums prior to that. I think there must be more to council than just roads, but it's a major item and one that certainly we focus on in the county, and yeah, it's an important issue. A couple of questions that have come in from residents, and they've been directed to each of you specifically. So I'm going to start with Sean. To your question that was set in was, you ran for Division 4 councillor in 2021. Have your ideas about municipal government changed since then?
Thank you, Bruce. They have not changed. Certainly, there are some certain perceptions out there of how things are done. I think are changing and have changed since I've spent a little bit more time on the Ag Service Board, and I've been involved with a little bit more of the policy and how things are running within the county. That being said, I still believe that a strong team is the only way forward for council. there needs to be open and honest communication with the clear direction. And that direction is give and take. So council needs to be given, direction from the county folks. And then they need to give good direction to administration and to all the boards that they oversee. Mutual accountability. You you play the game as a team. Everybody on the council should be able to take the accolades as well as the negative portions of that. Council needs to support risk-taking. Outside the box thinking is where, is the wave of the future. We need to think outside the box because it seems like there's a lot of the same stuff, roads, that get, they get an inordinate amount of time. And there has to be a common goal without personal agendas. Again, we all have our favorite pet projects, but that can't overlook what needs to get done as a team.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Sean. And to Tiffany, the Alberta government recently introduced party politics to municipal elections in some areas. You're married to MLA Jason Nixon. How do you respond to those who might consider this a conflict of interest?
Well, my husband is a member of the Legislative Assembly and the MLA for Rimbey Rocky Mount House Sundry at a provincial level. I don't see there being big conflicts of interest. Municipal and provincial governments have their own set roles. They're segregated. The responsibilities are at different levels. And I'm pretty sure that I can remain fully focused on the needs and priorities of Mountain View County. While my husband is the MLA, we are able to respect each other's roles. Ultimately, we made decisions to put our names forward because we believe in serving our communities and our community members and our neighbors. And I'm dedicated to being a strong, independent voice for the county. Thank you.
Thank you. So we now will move to closing statements, and I've been generous with the time. So we'll start, and this was drawn as well. So Tiffany, you have 2 minutes to wrap up.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us tonight for this important forum. I also want to extend my gratitude to Sean for putting his name forward and being part of this democratic process. If elected next week, and I receive the privilege to embark on this journey to represent Division 4 on County Council, I would be excited and ecstatic about the possibilities that would lie ahead. I believe in the power of collaboration and working together with fellow councillors to create a vision for our community that reflects our shared values. We have an incredible opportunity to explore innovative solutions for growth, ensuring that our community remains vibrant while preserving the things we love about our rural way of life. I'm committed to being your voice on council, advocating for the needs of Division 4 while actively seeking new ways to support small businesses, enhance our infrastructure, and address the challenges we face. Together, I know we can create a future that is not only meets the needs of our current residents, but also welcomes new families and encourages a thriving economy. This community has given so much to my family, especially during our hardest times, and now I want to give back by serving you. With your support, I will work hard to ensure your voices are heard, your needs are met, and that Division 4 continues to be a wonderful place to call home. I would ask that you vote Tiffany Nixon on October 9th, 10th, or 16th. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or comments or concerns that you would like to share, please feel free to email me at info@tiffanynixon.ca, or you could leave me a detailed message at 1-844-330-0918, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much all for your time and for your participation in this forum, and I look forward to the opportunity to serve you.
Thank you, Bruce. The street smart education my police career has given me, the business and financial literacy that owning a ranch has taught me, along with the governance I have learned from sitting on many boards, steering committees, and organizations, will help me represent you and Mountain View County in the most positive light. I also would like to thank Mountain View County for this opportunity and my fellow candidate Tiffany for putting her name forward. Please get out and vote on October 9th, 10th, or 16th, and vote Sean Labrie for your Division 4 counselor. Thank you.
You okay? It's a tough experience, and for your questions, and we got through all of the questions with your very precise answers. So thank you very much for that. And I want to thank everyone who joined us tonight in the forum and remind them that it was recorded, and so it will be available on the website for you to view at a more convenient, if there is a more convenient time and you're not on the combine or the tractor or otherwise engaged. It is really important to vote in these elections. Our turnouts, municipal elections are generally in the 25 to 30% range. So let's hope that Division 4 can show that we are interested and make sure that we have the best candidate representing us. Advanced polls, again, will be open on October 9th for Division 4 residents only at the Melvin Hall from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that's located on Highway 582 in Didsbury. And then again on October 10th, you can vote at the Bergen Hall from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's located on Range Road 53C, if you know where that is, but you can Google that. But most people in Division 4 probably know where the Bergen Hall is. The main by-election voting date is October 16th, when polls will be open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And voting will take place at either the Melvin Hall or the Bergen Hall. Please remember, only residents of Division 4 will be eligible to vote, and you will need to present a government-issued ID to verify your address. If you need any more information, including details about the election process, voting requirements, and the candidates, please visit the county's website at mountainviewcounty.com/elections. Thank you again for participating tonight. And as the candidate said, please come out and vote. There's lots of opportunity. Thanks again and good night.